Indian in Massachusetts, you know, a lot of the industry from Springfield certainly was from the armaments, like the Springfield Armory, building rifles for the Civil War. They were using a lot of original processes that would be relatively, maybe archaic by that time. Harley, certainly by the teens or 20s and 30s, got into more of the stampings and you know, more things that could be produced, you know, in larger quantities with less labor. Again, they're saying that Harley had a lot of German immigrants come in and work that knew how to build the tooling and, you know, really kept Harley in the forefront. But, you know, Harley kept, making advances, and certainly during the Depression, they spent a lot of their money and time to develop the knucklehead engine. So, I don't know, they said there was hundreds, more than 100,000 hours in development of the knucklehead engine. And you have to look at it another way. When it came out in 1936, they got a very high percentage of it correct. You know, frame design, something as simple as a kickstand, which in those days they called it a jiffy stand, which was their name for the stand. The overhead engine, interchangeable wheels, which people wanted. So, you know, they were well ahead of their time. Of course, Indian at that time was minimum 10 years behind Harley, minimum, and they never saw a 4-speed transmission, really. And then they didn't get the Army contracts, and then after that, they started importing either English machines. They spent a lot of money building the Indian Arrow, which would have been after the war, trying to build a lightweight English replica of something from Europe. So, and time after time they failed, and of course, the U.S. version was the U.S. Manufactured ones in Springfield. The end was 1953, and I think at that time the only people they had left was the New York City Police Department, which they had a huge fleet of Indians, so they could keep those running. They had their own service department, and as you'll see in another segment, we'll talk about Mr. Weinert, who headed the mechanical division for the city police.